We're through the first 6. We only have the Deathly Hallows parts left. I've enjoyed them more as we've gone. I feel like they've been more refined movies, and maybe that's some of it's just like, I don't know, they just feel more like adult stories as you go, which I know is like criticism for her, but I don't know. We'll talk about it after the show. It was that's what it's yeah.
Oh, hello.
It was so bad.
You missed it by about 45 seconds there.
I was like watching it. I was like, I think it might be over.
I was gonna let it play out. So there we go.
There's that's Spike's opinion on Harry Potter.
So there we go. Welcome everybody.
Welcome.
I don't know. Maybe the Skype call wasn't updating the video, or no one was paying attention, but that's okay. It was really funny. So welcome to episode 20 of the final split. It's going to be a good one already. We've got quite the rowdy bunch here. So
yes, you.
Joining us in the green box. It's a different S this time around. What's going on, Striker?
Not too much. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Good to have you. What have you been up to lately?
No, man. I've actually decided that I'm going to be working on and writing some more music for a lot of different projects. So that's going to be coming up here shortly.
Nice.
Yeah,
sounds good. In the red box, as always, talking a little bit longer than the intro. It's Spike Vegeta.
See, Sinister kept me in line. I'm gonna have to adjust to not having Sinister.
Oh, he was the one that always gave like the warning, like okay.
So we're gonna go now. I don't understand how Skype delay works.
Okay, I gotcha. All right, that's all right. We forgive you. And in the blue box, our guest this week is Uber Goose. Hello, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. I don't know if it's just me, but like your face is blending into your background. Like
yeah,
it is kind of.
The lighting in my bedroom's like not the greatest. There's one light and it's up that way.
Nice. All right. Well,
the red shirt was a good choice.
Yes.
That's all right. You're here. That's all that matters. So let's go ahead and get right into it, guys. Let's press start. Get the show going.
Do it.
Here it is. The first topic of the day. The one that. If you were here for the preview for the show, you know that we delayed the show just a few minutes to watch the end of this here, and look at that, how accurate that title is. Classic Mega Man Relay number 3 just finished.
Whoa, unbelievable!
What a close finish it was.
I can't believe Golden had to go back in and change that title just so it matches right now.
That's right. I had to be just right. Had to be the first one on the scene. What did you guys think of the relay? You know, the parts that you got to watch anyway.
It's just so much fun. It's such a fun community event. I love everyone being able to come together. I love how into it the community is. I love how it's seeming like there aren't runners who are just like, I'm too good for this. You know, I feel like you've got such a good representation for all the games, and you can tell that throughout. You know, we're talking about it during the preview of our show. You know, you had 3 runners that were all basically at the top level for each of the games. Every different team had a lead at some point. Some leads were, you know, Team Green ended up winning the race by about a minute, and at one point, I think going into Mega Man 7, they were down like 5 minutes. So it's just, it's such a cool thing that we all get into. You know, obviously Classic Mega Man is beloved within the speedrun community. And I guess my biggest thing is, again, I just like to see it done with a lot of other game series in the future, because I feel like there are a lot of other series that could produce something like this. Maybe not 10 games, but something or other.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one of the things to take away from this, you know, it's happened so many times now, but I kind of feel like this is like a final exam of sorts. Like you're studying for it for a couple of months. You know, maybe you picked up a new Mega Man, or maybe you're a player that was kind of like middle of the pack, but now you're starting to get more involved in your game because you are a part of the race and you're putting more time into it. And it's a thing that people are taking very seriously. You know, the days leading up to it, you see people practicing really hard for it, and it's fun. It's international competition. It's storylines about there was 5 runners in a row from Canada kind of closing out for one of the teams. Japan making a really strong showing on red team, and just lots of involvement from the runners themselves, but also the community reacting to it really well. I realized that this time around, I don't think it was on front page of Twitch. I believe it wasn't.
Don't believe so.
But still getting like 800 viewers,
Mm-hmm.
something around that. So that's pretty cool. Anybody else?
Oh,
I mean,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I didn't get a great chance to watch most of it. I was doing things most of the day, but I mean, I saw the end, and that was incredibly close and really entertaining to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it amazes me just how this seems to happen so often. Like how there's always seems to be someone like by the end of it after such a long time, it's so close. Like it's mind-boggling to see how that happens so many times.
And
yeah,
that's kind of the genius of Joka, I guess. He's the one that balances all the teams.
Balance all the teams. But again, it makes it not to downplay what Joka's done, but when you have this level of competition on runners who are offering up the games, it does make that a little easier. And to me, like you talked about Striker, we watched for 6 hours and there was less than a 60-second differential between all 3 teams. I view this as, I've been clamoring for this for a while, maybe to a smaller scale to some extent, but this seems like an audition tape for a GDQ. When are we going to see a relay? Again, we talk about we want to see different sorts, not just different games, but different sorts of ideas and things tried out the GDQs. How against would we be? I don't know, maybe in 1 through 3. I don't know, maybe an X through X3, the Donkey Kong Country series, the NES Mario series. I definitely think if you can get the manpower there, this would be a hella exciting race to watch.
Yeah. I would agree.
That's the thing. I feel like people love storylines, regardless of like whether I'm a fan of the game or not. There's compelling stories there to be told, and I think that motivates people to watch it, whether they are familiar with it or not.
For sure.
As far as specific runners go, it's kind of it's interesting because not only are people like pushing themselves to excel in this competition, but you start to see kind of the personalities. Vson's always kind of had this thing where Yellow Devil just gets to him, and it happened again in this race.
Yeah,
we saw Ohan do a repeat of something that he did in the previous relay, dying on Starman. So you're starting to see kind of within the relay itself, there's kind of like a storyline developing with the players who are a part of it. And not to just highlight the bad things that happened, sure. I mean, obviously like Ohan had a really good 6 run following that. I think he ended up having like a very high 34 or low 35. So beating like most people's times in that game. And then obviously, the comeback that started in 7 and 8 when, I can't remember. I want to say it was Green Team. They were a few minutes behind.
Yeah, Ion.
Yeah, and then pulling through with that. So I'm having trouble keeping track of my team colors here, but
It's and a part of that is we do have this kind of mix of countries. We are starting to implement. They're putting the little flags up. They're starting to give you that idea.
I love that idea.
All right, we've got it's not just a bunch of Americans. We've got a bunch of people from Japan. We have somehow a bunch of people from Canada upstairs coming in to join us. Europe's all over the place. How close are we getting to? I'm gonna remember what the teams are because I've got 10 people from Canada. I've got 10 people from Japan who's making up a team.
I know that this has been asked before, and the response that we've heard is that it just wouldn't be fair. Like Japan would kill everybody, but I still think it'd be fun.
Let them kill us and let us burn a fire under our butts.
Hey,
wake up call, dude.
There's this thing called a miracle, and it's happened in the Olympics before. Why can't it happen in Mega Man? Let's do it. But if you guys get a chance to check the replay, it was on Joka's stream. That's JOKAAH. So head on over there, check out the replay if you didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing. Cool, good stuff. We're gonna move on though, and this is now the opportunity to get the interview going because the race actually finished up so soon right after. We are going to show a clip from it, but didn't have time to capture it because it actually just wrapped up. So maybe we'll get one in next week. But our guest this week is Uber Goose, and as the stream title says here, Octodad, dadliest catch record holder.
I'm not actually anymore.
You're not anymore.
No.
There we go. So I got the first screen right and the second screen wrong. Start the show over. All right.
No.
Don't tell our speed run. There will be a negative post. So okay, former record holder Uber Goose.
Yep.
What motivated you to play Dadliest Catch in the first place?
So when it came out, I just saw the game and I was like, "Oh, this looks, hilarious. I'm just gonna play it for fun." So I played it and I realized that the controls were like really bad. So that motivated me to get good at the controls. And as I was getting good at the controls, I was like, "This is actually like a legitimately good speed game." And then I started just figuring out strats, like trying to find skips and things, and optimized it down to. My time was a 16:34, but it's been improved by almost a minute now. So
what were the main improvements that have been compared to what your run was?
Mostly just optimization, because the whole thing is like you're a ragdoll, so it's like really really hard to optimize. And then there was one new skip that I didn't know about that saves like 2 seconds or something, which is obviously nothing. But yeah,
What was it?
It's just like. There's a spot after the first level where you pause and go back to the menu to skip the opening credits.
Okay.
But you can actually skip the delay before you have to pause by pausing at the end of the first level. So it just saves like 2 seconds.
Sweet.
So a lot of people will probably look at now. I would say I'm a big fan of Octodad Dadliest catch runs. I think they're a lot of fun to watch. I thought the GDQ appearance of it. I know you were against it being a race, but still a very entertaining show. Why should people? Probably a lot of people just say, "Oh, it's so goofy looking." What about it do you think makes it a legitimate speed game that draws you toward it more so than just, "Oh, it's goofy and I want to play it"? It's not an awful game submission. You submitted it for a reason. What's kind of your reasoning behind that?
My main reason is actually just the fact that it can get so optimized. Like, it's so difficult to actually optimize. Like, I know a lot of games for some people, the drive is just like, getting a good time or whatever. But to me, it's more getting the game very fast, right? Like, not even just what I'm doing. And Octodad is like a prime example of that because the segmented run that was actually pretty recently done, which also isn't even optimal, is like 2 minutes faster than the current record or something crazy like that.
Oh, wow.
So there's so much room for improvement just because it's so wacky and almost impossible to control.
That's awesome.
Now we currently know you for Octodad Dadliest Catch. Do you want to get? I found you actually. Of course, we found each other through the Rayman Origins community.
Yep.
And I know before that, I think a lot of people know you originally for Dark Souls. You kind of just want to give your little history of kind of how you got into speedrunning, what games they were, and where you are now.
Sure. So I think it was 2012. Yeah, like fall, winter 2012 when SIG was doing the month-long 120-star runs. That was basically what got me into it.
It's amazing how many people have given this answer to
Yeah.
I think Ivan gave this one as well. Just people were just like, dude, I was watching SIG, and then I tried it out. No, go ahead.
So I was just on Twitch one day, went to the front page, and I saw like Super Mario 64. I'm like, what? Why is somebody playing this in 2012? This makes no sense. And then I started watching, and it blew me away how cool speedrunning was as a concept. And then Dark Souls came out on PC late 2012, I want to say, like winter 2012. And then 2013 is when I bought Dark Souls, and then I was like, I want to speedrun this because this game is crazy hard or whatever, because that's the thing people say about Dark Souls. And that was basically the driving force. I was like, I just want to see how crazy I can get at this really hard game. And then I just started speedrunning that. I went about 2 months or so with that being my only game, and I was like, speedrunning's really fun. I'm going to branch out. And Rayman Origins was one of the first ones that I branched out to. And I picked it up briefly ran it. It wasn't too fun because
Yes, agreed.
there were a lot of soft locks and awful things that made it bad for speedrunning. But and then after that, I just kind of slowly branched out, and now I've played like 30 some odd games.
Dang. You have your. I'm not going to ask you what they are, but there is a hint of AGDQ games lists are in the air. Do you have picked out what you're going to be putting in tomorrow, or are you still kind of back and forth what you're actually going to submit?
Um, I'm a little bit back and forth. I want to submit Shovel Knight, so does everybody, but I mostly want to just submit it, just like in case none of the good runners can go, like in case Cap and Drake can't go. I really hope Cap and Drake gets to run it though. So probably Shovel Knight. I'm gonna submit Octodad again. Probably won't get in, but there, might as well throw it out there. So there's the option. And that's pretty much all I got. Like I'm not running too many games right now.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give you right here. Well, you've got you can have a little longer than 300 characters or whatever it's gonna be right now.
Yep.
What's your pitch for why a game like Octodad could be in every GDQ, or at least this one again, even though it just made its appearance?
I think that return viewers would love to watch it again because the first time they saw it, it probably brought them in. They had a fun time watching it. They had a good laugh here or there. So they're going to have a good reaction to it, seeing it again. And then new viewers are going to be like, what's this weird Octodad game? And then they're going to see it, and similar reaction is going to happen. And it'll just continue building on itself, something like that.
Now, has there ever been the case that like both Octodads have been in a marathon back to back? I don't feel like that's ever happened.
This was the first GDQ that Octodad Deadliest Catch was out for, so...
Right. I'm not talking like GDQs only, though. I'm talking like
Oh,
online
sure.
marathons, too. I don't think that's ever been done that I can think of.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. Because, I mean, they're both relatively, I mean, I guess I was going to say short games, but, for a block, that is, I guess that would kind of be a short block if that was something that could happen. Do you see like both games ever making it into a marathon like that, or do you think it's kind of like a one or the other?
I think that you'd almost always go with Deadliest Catch because the original Octodad is silly, but it's very bad.
Yeah,
The game is just bad.
I just remember the reception at I want to say it was HDQ 2013.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And just like that whole room not knowing what they were in for.
Yeah.
And then somehow like that kind of became the talk of the marathon, even though it was this game that so few people there even had any idea of what it was.
Now, Goose, I've known you to be very opinionated about the GDQs in general. I'll let you have your pitch, but I know I've always seen you, like I saw you in Mike's chat earlier doing like AGDQ, SGDQ recap shows. I'd like to ask you, just I'd like to go through different people as the marathons are being organized. A lot of respect for Mike and everyone else who's had to do it. If you had control of the GDQs right now, what do you feel like is a change you would like to see going forward?
So probably the biggest change is the setup days. Obviously, Mike talked about that a lot in the recap stream, that the setup went pretty shaky the past couple marathons, and I think they had 2 setup days at SGDQ, if that's correct. And with 2 setup days, hardly anything got set up on the first day, and I think that's like a real big problem. And honestly, just like more setup time could fix a lot of the issues that happened at SGDQ. Obviously, a full like 24-hour preview stream would be really, really good, because then they'd sort out like audio issues, make sure that the streaming computer's up for it, and anything like that. So just more time for setup would fix a lot of issues, I think, technical at least.
I 100% agree with that. I'd like to see more, I guess, more of an organized setup. And I know it sounds odd that you have to organize your organization almost. But yeah, I've been adamant in the past about getting more runners in the room, getting more commentators in the room, and actually just trying stuff out and putting it up on stream to keep us from those embarrassing moments like we had this past GDQ.
Yeah,
So.
like in Banjo Tooie specifically, there were like horrible audio issues, and that like really, to a lot of people, that actually ruined that run. So if that can get sorted, then stuff like that won't happen in the future.
For sure.
All right. Well, I think on that note, we're gonna move on to real talk. But if you guys have questions for Uber Goose at the end of the show, keep those questions in mind now. Start thinking of the questions you want to ask, and we will ask them at that point. So with that in mind, let's get to this week's topics, guys. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
You better be ready, because I'm not slowing down.
All right, good.
It's real talk.
Go to the bathroom.
All right, guys. It is that time of year, as the expression goes. HDQ game submission tomorrow was supposed to be today. Got pushed back one day, just for them to do further testing and make sure everything is fine and dandy. But I guess while we wait for this to kind of go down, give me, if you each will, maybe one game that you're hoping gets submitted. What are you looking forward to? Like, what do you expect? What do you predict? Something about HDQ. What are we going to be seeing? Let's start with how about Uber Goose on this one?
I'd say one game that I obviously, like, you know, I would said that I wanted to see Cap and Drake do Shovel Knight because that'd be really cool. But I think one game that'd be awesome to see would actually be Rayman Legends again, because I think that the reception at SGDQ is really, really good. I'm not sure if I'll be running it, but I do definitely want to see it submitted at some point.
We need to find someone to submit it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're saying that, are you talking like one person running it, or a race again? Because I mean, there was a race obviously at SGDQ, but do you think that the race worked well, or do you think it's more of a single player type of game?
I think the race worked well, and I think, honestly, a race or just one person running, either would be fine. I think the difficulty with a race would actually be, like, getting enough people to race, because I know, Spike, you and I are probably not going to be doing Rayman Legends again. I don't know.
Probably not. Love the game.
Spoiler alert here, yeah.
Yeah.
Not to make you, like, read off your, you got your list of GDQ submissions here.
Possibilities.
Not that game,
but,
not that one. Like,
right.
All right, Striker. Striker, what are you thinking?
I think you know what I would probably say that I'd hope for a Star Wars block at some point.
There you go.
I'm holding out for it. I'm just I want it so bad.
Step back from like any biased view, because obviously like we all think, I think Kingdom Hearts block could happen. I think
right.
Do you genuinely feel like there's a collection of Star Wars game that could make up a block? Do you feel like the response has been good enough in the past to warrant that sort of thing?
Well, I don't know. Like I'm not really familiar with anything other than kind of the stuff that I've done up like other than these past couple GD2s, and even then the other runs that were supposed to be there like ended up having to back out or anything like that. So it always just ended up being me. I
we're going to have a Star Wars block this time.
Yeah, it was like going to be close to it. There were going to be like 2 or 3, I think, which I would be awesome. Like even just that I would be happy with. But like just the PC, like the Dart Forces series, like there's enough variation between the games, and also just like some of the like tricks that you have to do, and especially Dart Forces too. Like you're just moving so fast, it's brilliant to watch. So I'd love to see stuff like that. It would satisfy my nerd cravings, if you will.
Sure.
There you go.
So.
I will jump on as a nerd myself with a little nostalgia. I'd love to see a Shadows of the Empire run get in at some point. I think they did do it a couple, like maybe 3 or 4 years ago even. But I'd love to see someone do a modern run of it.
The main issue of that is, I mean, actually, like since even just in the past year, there's been a lot of improvements. Like with jetpack glitching, stuff like that. It's like the time's been cut down quite a bit. But the only issue, at least for a marathon, is like there's the train level that's like 3 minutes long. Like you
is
just
it only 3? I thought it was like a 45-minute train.
Yeah, it's literally the entire run is that level. It's not even, I don't know. It's somewhere between 3 and 7, I think. It depends on what difficulty you do. It's faster on harder difficulties and stuff. So, but yeah, so that was always the downside of that run in particular. But
sure.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's not so much the games that will be surprising as kind of the changing of the guard, if you will. Some newer names coming in to play some games that you're very familiar with other runners playing. I'm really looking forward to. I hope Double Stop gets a chance to run Yoshi's Island. I think that would be really cool. I think Punkation Mario 64 is one that a lot of people are expecting. And but whether that ends up being a race or a solo run, whatever the case may be, I think that's going to bring in a lot of hype. And I guess as far as like new games go, I think there's potential for some games that we don't really have any GDQ experience with yet. I think Superstar Saga, Mario and Luigi. I think that's got a legitimate chance now as that game starts to get more busted. I think we might see the return of Pokemon Gold, just because again that's getting rerouted all over the place. But just it's been interesting what games have been getting busted open lately, and I think this time around we might see some names that we aren't as familiar with. I also think this is going to be the first GDQ that doesn't have like oversaturation of Mega Man. I feel like a lot of the GDQ Mega Man runners, like the regulars who always submit, are kind of backing off and playing other games or taking a break from Mega Man. And that's not to say we won't have a Mega Man block, because I kind of feel like there always will be one. But I feel like the urge to pick 15 games isn't going to be there this time around. It'll be a lot fewer, and it'll be maybe a higher quality restriction on which ones get in. Like we'll accept 3 runs, but they better be 3 really good runs. So we'll see. I'm curious to see what happens with that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's move on here. Next topic on the list is the best of NES. So there's a marathon coming up, I believe, starting on Halloween, and going into the first few days of November. It's called Best of the NES Marathon, and the idea behind this marathon is that everybody who's in it is a world record holder, or otherwise like really good at the game. Like either they've held the record at some point, or they are the current quote unquote champion. First of all, okay, it's like this is a 2-part question. What do you think of the idea of the marathon? And if you've had a chance to take a look at the schedule there, what are your thoughts on that? I'll throw it out to you guys.
What was the first part of the question again?
What do you think of the idea? So it's a marathon of all world champions.
Sure. I love that it guarantees that we're only going to get these games at their highest level. It's kind of, I don't know if arbitrary is the right word or not, but it's just when you watch a GDQ thing or a lot of other marathons, things can be all over the place. You might see runs that we don't, for the most part, we don't really know if it's a great run or not. It's like, oh, well, did that visually stimulate me in some way? But it might be the person's 15 minutes off record or something, and that there is that much more beyond that. So the fact that we're getting to see it, whoa, what's up, Raid?
Hello.
Look down. What were we talking about?
Going down.
So no, yeah, I definitely like the idea of just saying like these are the standards we're going to hold you to, and the fact that like an online marathon can have these kind of standards and have this kind of schedule, like it's insane when you say that. It makes it sound as if this is only going to be like a 24-hour marathon, because there's no way. NES games are generally shorter. They're like 15, 20-minute games. So to fill up a 72-hour marathon of world record caliber level players of like every NES game out there. And look, yeah, everyone, if you have the opportunity, go look at the schedule. There aren't like, in my opinion, any obscure titles on here. It's like top tier NES games across the board. I love the idea of this. This is some of the most excited I've been for an online marathon yet.
Yeah, I'd have to second that. Just the concept of, when you watch a lot of these online marathons and you see, I mean, like, that the person that's going to be in the marathon hopefully is going to put on a good show. It's going to be an entertaining run. They're going to have good commentary, all this good kind of stuff. But that does not necessarily guarantee that the gameplay that you're watching is top tier. And unless you're familiar with the game, I mean, you're not going to know, like, oh yeah, dude, he did that like 2-second like save, or that even that 1-frame save or trick, like you're not going to know that. And so like, I mean, obviously you'd hope that they commentate on it, but just knowing that you're going to see these runs going ham the entire time, just the entire freaking marathon. It's exciting. I'm really excited to see.
It reminds me of sitting next to Pi during, I think it was Mega Man 3 and 5 back to back at SGDQ. And he went, oh, crap. Yeah, Pi said crap. It was,
He kept
these runs are so good. Like, you felt like all of a sudden, like, I remember thinking in Darkman's shoes, like, man, Checkers just destroyed 3, and now he's got to follow that up. And he did. He followed it up. And just thinking about that, like, for 3 days, you're going to have that sort of display of talent of destroying childhood games. I think that's really cool.
I'll tell you what, like I don't mean to jump in here and we lost Striker again, but all right, maybe he'll
Oh
come
no.
back at some point. So I guess my thoughts on it are kind of more aligned with what Striker was saying than what Spike was saying. I guess like I understand the notion that okay, we've got a bunch of on paper world champions. And it's going to be a knockout marathon, and I think that that'll work. Like, I don't think there's going to be anything wrong with that. But I guess it kind of gives off this element of like elitism, like we only want the best player, and the rest of you don't matter to us. But then again, I mean, this is a one-time marathon. It's not like an invite only in-person marathon kind of thing where you're saying, like we're keeping you out because you're not good at a game. But so I don't know. I'm curious to see like what the reaction is to it. I'm curious to see how the runners themselves perform, because just because you're the world champion doesn't guarantee that you're going to be able to play it well in a marathon setting too. Nerve issues are a thing. Some games aren't consistent. So whether or not you have the fastest time, the number of resets that you've done over the course of your life doesn't matter for a one-shot run. So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. I'm excited. I like NES games. I think that in general, your guys are bouncing all over the screen.
That's fine. All right, so Striker's opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I think NES platformers are very entertaining to watch, and I think that there is quite a good lineup of them. And actually, the names that are in this marathon are some pretty strong names too.
Yeah, for sure.
Sinister One at the almost the top there, with Punch Out, and you got Ohan running like every Mega Man game in existence. It's a good lineup.
Yeah, I understand definitely where you're coming from on the whole, like, are we leaving there is like a sense of elitism to it. What is cool about it is that they can be a little elitist about it, that they have this many options that you really do look down that list.
Sure.
It's 3 full days of that.
Yeah, I mean, they're
and again, like, it's experimentation. Like, maybe it's, maybe it won't go over as well as we want it to. Again, there's also commentary. There's a sense of personality that a lot of I think the viewing audience at home expects to come out of the runners more so than just top tier play.
Yeah, I agree. No, I mean, I guess I'm not trying to say like avoid the marathon because they're only getting the top tier players. I think that there's just kind of this the reaction to it at first that, hey, why does it have to be the number one player in all cases? But at the same time, I mean, they managed to make a 3-day marathon out of it, so there's obviously no shortage of players willing to take part in this. So
yeah.
All right. Well, now that we've officially lost Striker, and
Goose, were you going to say something?
All the boxes have switched around.
I was just gonna like pretty much reiterate. Like, I think it's a very good idea because the quality of play is going to be so high. But then there is definitely that aspect of maybe there's like some stigma of like, oh, you're not the record holder, so you're not allowed to run a marathon or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a good idea. But execution is going to be what really matters in the end.
Yeah, and I think that's something we're all looking forward to, seeing it how it. Let me like kind of put like a spin on the question here while we try to buy time for Striker to come back. So let's say the same marathon happens and it's an in-person marathon. Is it worse? In the elitist sense, like, or like. I guess you wouldn't be denied the opportunity to go to it if you really wanted to anyway. You could go and be a viewer, but do you get the impression that, like, maybe like look at GDQs or ESA, do you get the impression that they're more open to players of different skill levels?
Like, and that's a valid question. Like, this is the same thing we've talked about a lot in the past with the GDQs. Is it necessarily just the best runner who should be doing it? Like, if all these runners offered these games for a GDQ and you wanted to put all these games in, do you give it to all of these top times, or do you also balance? I feel like they still give it to all the top times. Sure. I don't know if that's necessarily the best way to do it, but I do think if they say we've got this level of talent offering, if other people want to come, they can sit on the couch. That's just... Yeah. Again, I don't know if that's the best way to do it necessarily, because there are certainly runners who weren't great at their games, but they had amazing commentary or a good personality or whatever it was, and they were successful in other ways. But yeah. No, I do feel like that's the direction. Hey, it's Striker.
Sorry about that.
It's all right, man. Spike did a good job of stalling for you when I asked a follow-up question. So, yeah, I don't know. Long story short, it's a new idea. We're curious to see what happens with it.
Sure.
And I guess we won't know until it happens. So, on that note, let's move on. You guys in chat seem to have some pretty good opinions about that one as well on both sides there. So, looks like there are some thoughts on it already. Let's move on to Twitch Aftermath. So, rather than going into detail and recapping the entire history of the Twitch changes that occurred in the past couple of weeks there, instead, I want you guys to take a look at Twitch's reaction to it. Obviously they had the Reddit Ask Me Anything, as well as I've seen a lot of admins in chats kind of clarifying things for people. Are you satisfied with how Twitch responded, or are you still left a little sour based on what's happened here? And I guess whoever wants to go first.
Sure. It's a heavy topic. I think, it was just to let you guys in on the backstage aspect of the final split. We were prepared last week to go on with a show talking about all this drama that was going down. And then we wake up the morning of the show and then all the drama's gone. Everything, they all of a sudden said, all right, we're not doing this. So there's a part of me that wants to sit there and say, hey, okay, Twitch listened to us. They realized there was a problem. They realized people were unhappy. They decided, no, we're not doing this. The problem I have with it is if it was so easily discarded, why was it ever an issue in the first place? Like, things were going, like, we were getting our VODs muted. We were being told that, like, we're only going to have a 2-hour limit to our highlights. And that stuff was going down. And then all of a sudden, no, it's not anymore. So why would Twitch create this kind of risk instead of somehow letting everyone know we plan on doing this stuff in the future? What do you think about this going forward? Because it feels like kind of what they were doing, but then out of maybe fear, is it? That all of a sudden, in my opinion, they're creating competition. This is that many more people that they've said, hey, okay, maybe people aren't on Hitbox now, but how many people have a Hitbox account now? Because of what has transpired.
Right. Well, just in this call here, I mean, I've been streaming a couple of times to Hitbox. Now, I haven't switched permanently, but I've definitely been experimenting with it. Have you guys had a chance to use it at all? Have you been using it, or are you Twitch faithful? What's going on?
Well, it's actually a funny story.
Uh-oh. I want to hear it.
I'll go ahead and let you guys know how big of an idiot I am.
Uh-oh.
So I when this whole thing went down, everyone was like, "Oh, they're getting Hitbox now." I was like, "Well, I might as well just go ahead and get Striker. Might as well have it. And even if I never use it, at least I have Striker, right?
Right.
I fought so hard to get Striker on Twitch. Might as well get this on Hitbox early on, just in case." And so I go in and try and do it, and of course it's taken. I'm like, gosh darn it. And so I messaged, like, there was the tweet or whatever that, like, there was a form that you could fill out that you get your, like, you could or like get the name if
name
it wasn't
request,
active.
right?
Yeah, exactly. So I fill that out, and they say, oh yeah, Striker is still active, so you can't use it. I'm like, gosh darn it, man. Well, so I text Ivan and Andy, and I say, well, rip me streaming on Hitbox because I can't get the name Striker, so I'm not going to do it. So I was like, you know what, I might as well figure out at least what my password was for my old account. I thought it was Strike Nerd is what I ended up making it. So I type in my email or whatever in there, and I keep typing in the password, and it's wrong the entire time. And so they give me the whole option to change it or whatever. They send it to my email. Sure enough, I had the account Striker the entire time. Because the email said...
you stole your own account from yourself.
Yeah, it said, do you want to change the password for the account Striker? And I just looked at myself, and I'm the biggest idiot of all time.
Nice.
Because I had thought, when the whole Hash TV thing went down forever ago, that was the one that I didn't get Striker on, and for whatever reason, I just assumed the two were the same.
Nice.
And yeah, so I had the account Striker the entire time, and yeah, so that's my story.
All right. By the way, shout outs to revealing your password to everybody. That was generous.
Oh yeah,
you might want to change that now. But
yep.
All right. So anyway, kind of getting back to the question then. So then, did you stream on Hitbox at all when this was going on, or was it just more of like a making sure you had the account kind of thing?
Yeah, it was just making sure that I had the account. Yeah, I thought that I might try it just because everyone was loving the no delay thing, and I thought,
Yeah.
you know, obviously that's pretty cool. But I think I like the concept of having it as more of a an alt stream kind of thing that like allows you to give a chance to just really interact with your friends more so like a lot quicker while it's going down.
Yep.
But I mean, in terms of you know actually streaming, I'm still gonna stick with Twitch. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Goose, how about you?
I pretty much feel the same way. I streamed on it very briefly. I haven't had a great chance to stream in quite a while, but I did stream on it briefly, and the no delay was obviously really nice. It harkened back to the way Twitch was like I want to say like a year and a half ago or so, something like that. Um, I think they implemented the delay almost a year ago now, but I agree that I think it's good for an alt stream. It's really good for if you're trying to like help a friend learn a speed game, or if you're coaching somebody or anything like that. Mostly because of the no delay, and yeah, I agree though. I'm probably not gonna switch over like my main stream to Hitbox at all.
Right. I think the moral here is that just the execution of this more than anything was kind of the flaw. I think people are more upset with how it was handled than the changes themselves.
Yep.
You know, it was so sudden and there was no notification, and suddenly these changes are in effect. I think that really upset a lot of people. And then once they found out what the changes were, and Twitch started to try and cater more to us and say, hey, you know, we'll make an appeal system. We're not, you know, we're not deliberately trying to remove every single VOD that you have, or mute every single VOD that you have. You know, I think that calmed a lot of people down, and you know, like there's always like the day one protest where everybody's like, oh, we're moving to Hitbox, and then but I guess to put kind of an opposite spin on it too, there are people now who are streaming on Hitbox, and you know, whether they've just made an account to try it out a couple times or if they've actually made the switch. It's decisions like this that are kind of motivating that competition, and people are looking for alternatives. Like you mentioned, the low delay, I think that's something that appeals to a lot of people. You know, the relay race that happened earlier today, there were a lot of people in chat saying, you know, this would be a lot easier to tell, you know, what's going on if it was on Hitbox without the delay, or there wouldn't be as many spoilers in the Skype call if they didn't have as big of a delay. So yeah, I think it's you know, obviously in retrospect, hopefully they learned something from the kind of the reaction to it, but I think it's kind of subsided quite a bit. And I see people in chat kind of already talking a little bit about that as well. I see a couple people saying like no delay is kind of the big takeaway, but yeah, so cool. I'm sure we can answer some more questions about it a little bit later. Let's move on and talk about this week's record of the week. We made it through the serious drama. Oh, I ran the show intro. I'm so good. All right, try this again. Let's watch the intro again. I don't even know. Yeah, why not? I don't. All right, there we go. That's the button I meant to press. All right. I always once an episode I press the wrong button. All right. So what do we have here, Striker? What do we have?
we're jumping on board with Go Rope. He's sniping a bunch of nerds. He's going ham. This guy is unbelievable.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is very nice. Very
Shout
nice.
outs to Chris Bucket right there. I
That's
gotta give my Chris Bucket. You know.
Oh man, I could reminisce about the Halo days for hours. So this is Goat Rope's Halo Combat Evolved Legendary Run. Soon to be broken, I assume, because I know he's thinking 134 is possible, but this is the hardest difficulty of the game, and right now we're just looking at an excerpt from one of the stages here, not showing like a highlight montage or anything, but just showing off a little bit of the campaign play here. And from my understanding of it, Goat Rope is a player that runs both easy and legendary, so he kind of gets both extremes. Legendary, obviously, in Halo, just referring to amount of damage enemies deal, amount of damage they can take.
How many enemies there are.
How many enemies, yeah.
Yeah.
The standard, like, FPS quantities, I guess you could say. And I guess from this clip here that we're looking at in particular, you're seeing a lot of sniping going on. You're seeing, waves of enemies need to be killed to proceed with the mission. And actually, towards the end of this clip, you're going to see quite a few back smacks, which I know, if you're a competitive Halo player, that's always amusing as well. But yeah, I do think, if I remember correctly, he said 134 is possible, and that's what he's going for. So there's a good minute to be taken off of this.
Yeah, it's just I mean, FPS runs just in general are always or at least more often than not, they're pretty fascinating, especially if you have any experience in the FPS genre. Just Halo is just one of those series that so many people are behind. Myself, being one of them. Getting excited for the Master Chief Collection coming out later this year. Just remakes of all the original games. I'm interested to see if any new stuff will be found in those games for speedrunning. Like it's a lot of cool stuff happening in that regard coming up soon. Um, but yeah, this run is pretty crazy, and great job to go for it.
Yeah, we're seeing a bunch of the back smacks now. I like this. He's got the camo on. He's just beating everything down.
Yep.
I can't comment too much about this run itself. I haven't seen it really, but just knowing Goat Rope and his no joke, legendary performance of this at SGDQ. I know a lot of people said they were going into it, they didn't care at all about Halo, and then they were just absolutely blown away by his performance. Didn't know how cool a legendary speedrun of the campaign of this would be. So, yeah, shoutouts to Goat Rope, bringing Halo back, giving it some respect in the GDQ world.
Yeah, there is a little
been in
bit
such
of
a dark place there for years.
A little bit of a stigma when you run a Halo game at a GDQ. You got to know what you're doing now. But I think was it Monopoly that ran Halo 2?
Yeah, Monopoly ran Halo 2.
Yeah,
I was there for the couch for that. It was a great run.
Another really good run. Yeah, and I think it's safe to say 1 and 2 are the most popular as far as speedrunning goes.
That being said, Stryker, as a Halo fan, which Halo would you like to see make an appearance at the next GDQ?
Honestly, I'd like to just see Halo 3 make it in, just because of the fact that I would like to see a really good run done of it. But if Halo 2 or Halo 1 made it back in, I would be totally fine. Especially with there are so many good players out there that play these games, so it would be represented well. I have full faith in the community itself.
Mm-hmm.
From what I hear, there's actually Halo 4 is actually a really good speed game. Not to the people who run 1 and 2, but it has its own really heavy community. So I think Halo 4 would be pretty cool to see.
I saw some people talking about it earlier in the chat.
Yeah,
I have actually not watched too much of it. So I should probably go look into some of that kind of stuff.
See, and now my impression of it, not as a observer of the speedruns, but more as just a Halo fan, and just someone who's played a lot of them, is that the physics of 1 and 2 cater more to some of the traditional PC tech that you see. Things like grenade jumps, rocket boosts, that kind of thing. Yeah. I think that they kind of tightened up on the physics a little bit in future Halos. To the point where there's not as much of that kind of tech going on in the routes themselves. But I'm not an expert on it, so I'm not going to claim that that's actually accurate. It's just kind of what I've noticed. So I don't know. Maybe there is some potential for the newer Halos as well to be good marathon games as well. Let's move on, though, guys. This is a good one. I think you guys will like this one. It's time for Out of Bounds. This might as well just be Glitch Please, because we just don't have a video for it, but it's really good. So Goron Guy lost a run earlier this week. Aw, everybody collectively aw.
Aww.
And then he deleted his Twitch. So guys, the question I have for you, it's a very, very simple one. He since, by the way, got his Twitch back. Apparently he's done this multiple times.
Okay.
My question to you is, what is the best rage quit that you have ever seen? Does this take the cake? Or can you think of a better one? I know I can think of a better one, but I'll let you guys go first.
Wow, you can think of a better one?
I can think of a better one. I've got a better one, but
straight up delete the account. Never heard from again. It's pretty good. One that always jumps out to me, I guess I should have thought about this one a little more before the show, but one that I still love, anyone who's a fan of, in general, just go check out his YouTube channel because he's got a great channel. Pheno, who has run, most known for his Twilight Princess speedruns. It won't be as funny if I explain it, but there was where he had to fight whatever the dragon boss is at the end of City in the Sky, where all of a sudden he couldn't control his character anymore. Link just all of a sudden turned into Octodad, literally turned into Octodad while holding on by the hook shot, and he
Oh, I remember that. I remember that now.
just getting flung around the
Yeah.
air, and he can't let go, and the run's over.
Right, you can't. At that point, you're done.
Yeah, that's in general. Go check out his YouTube channel because he's got some really good videos on there. But yeah, that's a good one. That's
Yeah.
an
I was gonna say the chat's all over it. Caleb Hart doing
Yeah, I
the
think
SM64.
That's the takeaway there. Well, so take your pick, right? I think there's quite a few moments from Caleb, but what one were you going for in particular?
I remember one where he was trying to do the what's it called, like sky jump or something
Sure.
in Bob on Battlefield, where you jump up to the island. Yeah.
Oh, we
And he
had
just-
Ivan do that on our show. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. He missed it like 12 times or something and just started smashing his chair.
Nice. I was gonna say, the
was
Caleb
pretty
one that comes to mind for me is when he like crushed a SNES controller with his
Yeah.
fingers. That was
That
that
Wasn't
scared me.
wasn't there one that he also actually like fell out of his chair immediately after
Oh,
his goal? That one's the best one. That one is hands down the best one. The dude straight is pissed.
He's trying to do like
leans back and he just eats it. Oh my gosh. So good. So good.
I kind of like the classic Giano ones too. Like they weren't necessarily rage quits, but just like his reaction voices to things.
Oh,
He'd just be right. No, he'd just be like really silent, right? Like, okay, I'm fine. All right, okay. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just like, like 20,000 decibels into your ears. You know, don't wear headphones when you watch Giano. But
oh my God, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna leave the show and watch.
there we
that
go.
race.
We're gonna have to make the Giano montage now. All right. Anything else? Anybody else got any ones they want to share? It was kind of a joke segment, but
No, this is probably the most.
wasn't that the best
Oh, here
segment
it
we've ever
is.
done? I think that was the best segment we've ever done, guys. In review.
Yeah. Proud
All
to be a
right.
part of it.
All right. Well, I'll let you guys think about it, and maybe we'll talk about it a little bit later. But let's move on and look at this week's actual glitch, please. What is going on here, Spike? What's happening?
Dude, what is going? Oh, okay. We're. Just...
He's looking up Giano now.
I was looking up Gianna. What do we got going on here? Okay, so yeah, I can't claim to be a Skyrim guy. However, I think we can all connect to.
This
You're
is
going
Oblivion,
great.
but close
The
enough.
run is in the bag. Nothing could possibly go wrong. And then, what is going on here? All of a sudden, I guess he doesn't know how to explain it either. I guess these what are supposed to be friends start attacking him and kill him like a minute away from his world record run.
Yeah, he was
I
almost
hate this game.
a minute ahead there.
Yeah,
I really
was
hate
like
this game.
Also,
done. The
You,
run
real,
is-
you realize this isn't Skyrim.
Yeah, I tried to point that out,
Oh, is
but
this
he kept
not
going.
Skyrim?
He was
Oh, what
really
is this?
passionate about it.
It's Oblivion.
Oblivion.
He had the right
That's what I
idea.
meant to say.
Yeah.
I was in the right genre. I was like,
Right. You were in the
Elder
right
Scrolls.
series.
This
You
is
just had the wrong
horrible.
game.
Please,
You
I
meant
wasn't
to say
off
Elder
my
Scrolls.
path.
Yeah. Just that's all right. I forgive you. But yeah. So the allies turn on him.
I was looking up Giano videos.
I
That's
know.
right.
The best thing is that I just imagine you and your McNuggies face pulling your freaking shirt over, just looking back and forth. I don't know. We'll have to post that for the chat if anyone has not seen Spike and his face from SGDQ. But anyway,
That sounds like we need a video or a picture
yeah,
right now.
we need to get this in
We need to
here.
get a mature content warning up before we put it on.
Yeah, so needless to say, that one was actually submitted a while ago, but we did finally get around to showing it. So, guys, just a reminder that if we don't show your clip like immediately on the show, there's still a chance that it'll be on. It's just a matter of time. But again, if you want to submit a clip to the show, we'd love to have it. So check out all of our social media there on the far left for ways to get a hold of us and keep in touch with the show. For now, though, guys, let's move on to the Q&A section of the show. So if you guys in chat have questions for Goose or for any of us, now would be the time to ask those. It is time for the boss rush. And I just realized that our guy that's usually got the stock question isn't here.
I tell you what. I actually had one more question I was going to ask Goose anyways from the interview segment, so I'll go ahead and throw one out there. Goose, I know personally I'm the kind who I feel like everything else I do in life, if I game, it's speedrunning. So I know you're into Dota.
Yep.
How do you find that playing Dota like somehow balances you to where you don't get burnt out on speedrunning, and same the other way around? Do you feel that kind of way about it?
Uh, a little bit, but honestly, like I see them as two very different things. Like Dota is a thing I do like for fun playing with friends. Speedrunning is a thing I do just to try to, get better at a game I enjoy or whatever. So, yeah, a little bit of balancing out, but for the most part, I'll just, I'll do one or the other, uh, at random times, whatever I'm feeling at the time.
It's two different things. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like, yeah, right, for sure. Striker, do you know what you're going to be submitting for GDQs
Oh,
tomorrow? Again,
we should start with that question. You guys like all prepared?
Oh,
Who's ready to
I
go?
I have a couple. I don't know if I want to say it yet because I don't know how for sure I am about it. The main one that I want to do is actually I kind of want to learn Dart Forces 2 and race it against Piper or Salamiri, who's the guy who actually runs it and was going to at SGDQ but couldn't.
mm,
But obviously I'd have to like go pretty hard to catch up with him. But the cool thing about it is that um, we could actually do a race of Dart side versus light side. Like later in the run, you get to choose whether or not you go Dart side or light side, and we could have like they're not that much of a difference. And it would be really cool just to have people rooting for like one side versus the other,
yeah.
like stuff like that. But then also Edinal messaged me the other day. We're talking about possibly submitting Return of the Jedi difficulty race.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
yeah, so we'll kind of see. I've got a couple weeks to kind of toy with the thoughts and kind of see what we do, but
Sure.
that's what we're looking at.
Nice.
Anyone else got their submissions ready to go? You're still
I
planning?
think I am not. I'm glad it wasn't today because I was not sure. I mean, my Kingdom Hearts community, we're going to offer Kingdom Hearts 1.5 versus 2 again, like we did at SGDQ. We'll see if we have better luck this time. I'm probably going to be one of the like 4 of us who are going to offer Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Any percent. There's some of us who have toyed around with throwing out 100% as well, because it's actually a better category. It's a more interesting category, but it's also an hour longer. So probably not going to get that one in, but I don't know. We'll see. I guess my biggest question for Tropical Freeze, I feel confident that it's going to be in. I wonder how open to the idea they would be of having it be like a 3 or even a 4-way race, because we're going to have the top 6 runners all go. And the 2 who wouldn't be a part of the race, or the 3, have already agreed they would do Super Metroid style commentary for it. So
Nice.
it just depends, I'll be interested. I mean, we did a 3-way race for Rayman Legends first time it was in, so I don't think that's totally out of the realm of possibility, but we'll see. And I'm considering relearning Rayman 1, considering the game has dropped like 15 minutes over the last year. From time savers, from skips, from zips people have found. Yeah, Goose, that zip in Bongo Hills, they
Yeah.
figured out how to do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
of course.
it looks pretty sick. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in that game. So I'm considering resubmitting that as well. And it's been 2 years since it was in. So Golden.
Here's the way I'm gonna put it. Okay, I'm gonna try to be diplomatic about my answer. We have 2 weeks to submit. All right, and I intend to use every single day.
Nice.
All right. There's in all honesty, there are a couple of games I'm thinking about submitting, but I don't have any of them in the shape where I feel like I could submit them at this point. Like I feel like it would just kind of be a blank promise. Like if you trust me to do this, I can do it. And I don't know, like for some people, I guess that works, right? Like there are people who are very reliable, and you can say, okay, for sure they've been in enough marathons at this point where, like, if they promise me a run, I can guarantee it's going to be a good run. But I don't think I'm one of those people just yet. So I don't know. It's one of those things where I guess we're just going to see what happens over the next couple of days, and maybe something will inspire me. But yeah, at the moment, I'm kind of holding off, not really planning to submit anything. All right. We do have a lot of questions rolling in here now from the chat. So first one from Wally. Be honest, guys. What team were you rooting for during the relay?
Ooh.
All right, I'll say it. I wanted Team Red, and here's my reasons why. I am the biggest fanboy of Visan and Ohan, so like that was
Sure.
the dead give. If you had split them up, I'd have been a little bit harder pressed to pick a team, but yeah, red team was definitely, I was rooting for them.
I was rooting for Team Red because I love Duckfist and Tonic.
There you go.
Those are
more
my
good
two.
names, yeah.
Those are two of my absolute favorite members of this community. Real speedrunners, if you know what I'm saying. Just two really great guys, always up for helping you guys out or helping any of us out with learning games and whatnot. And the fact that they were both on the same team made it easy for me. Not that I don't love everyone.
Yeah, let's be clear here. You know, you asked the question, we gave the answer.
I was rooting. I was excited when Tonic pulled it back to take second.
By the way, like completely unrelated, but I was completely surprised. Mid boss Mega Man 2. That surprised me. That surprised me. I don't know. Like maybe he plays the game. I wasn't aware that he played it.
I've been watching him play it a lot.
He has been playing it a lot.
Yeah, I was shocked actually. It's similar to how you were when when I first saw him streaming. I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that he was playing this game, and he started, and he was just like, dude, I'm going ham in this game right now. I want to see how I do this, and
yeah,
sure enough,
I always knew Mid Boss as the trading card game guy. Like,
yeah,
that was,
but he's I've been impressed.
No, that was really cool.
And he felt like a product. I mean, I think he had put some time into the game before, but the big 25th anniversary race that went down for Mega Man 2 a month or two back, I feel like that really ignited him. He was inspired. I think he wants like a 28 in Mega Man 2 right now. So,
all right.
Yeah, he's going at it.
I'm going to use this opportunity to pitch something because I feel like we got all the Mega Man people here right now, and this needs to happen because every time the Mega Man community tries to do things like this, it's like a one-time thing, right? We'll do a 46 Robot Master Race and then say, okay, let's meet again next month to do it, and it doesn't happen. So here we go. All right, you guys want to be the next big Super Metroid Friday night, any percent? Keep doing Mega Man 2 normal. Like that is... So many people jump in on that. Everybody knows how to play it. It's simple. Players of all different skill levels can do it. It's simple with the exception of that awful Wily stage. Wily 4.
Mega Man 4. Wily 4.
Yeah. But that's got to be the opportunity for everybody to just jump in and play the same game. So I don't know. I hate to force my will upon you, but I think that's a good idea.
No, I 100% agree. I think that's actually one of the best weekly race ideas people can come up with. It's not overly ambitious, and that game is as difficult or easy as you want it to be, in my opinion, once you just understand the game.
A question here from 8-Bit Nacho Goose. Are there any games besides Borderlands you would run as a co-op game?
I've been messing around with it and talking to a couple people, and I'm considering Battle Block Theater co-op, which is a game that PJ and Mecha have been messing around with for a long time, but it recently came out on PC, so I've been messing around with it, and it's really fun, and I think it'd be a really cool speedrun.
Okay. Let's get one more question here. Let's see.
That's all I can see is Team Blue, Team Green, Team Blue.
Yeah, we got everybody's picking their teams again. Let me just remind you guys we need a raid target too. So if one of you wants to find a raid target,
sure.
While I pull up one more question here.
Do you got one, Striker? I'll leave it up to you then.
No, I was gonna look. You're welcome to. Go for it, dude.
Okay. All right, I'm in there.
We have one more question here. What do you guys think about the idea of a short blind race in a GDQ?
I really like the idea of one being on bonus stream.
Yeah.
I really, really like that idea.
Yeah. It does seem kind of off if you would put it in the main marathon.
Yeah, it's really hard to say because obviously the main marathon, it's there both to kind of, show off games as well as, just have some laughs in some cases. Definitely some games like Mad World at SGDQ and even Octodad were in there just for the entertainment value more than anything. And I think a blind race could give that, but at the same time, it's not really a speed run, if you know what I mean.
What if the finals of the mystery tournament were live at the GDQ instead of being streamed? I don't know. That's something to consider.
I like that a little more because there is a feeling of you have to kind of earn your way to get there.
Right. Yeah, it's got its own story. You know, you played through weeks of competition. You've proven that you're naturally good at a lot of different kinds of games, so the blind race will probably be better than expected. You could even maybe, you know, as the organizers of it, you could rig it so that the game that gets picked for the blind race isn't terrible. You know, it's something that you guys have tested and you can understand, like, okay, this will be completed in a decent amount of time, something like that. I don't know. That could maybe work.
Yeah.
But all right, I think we kind of wrapped up with questions there. Do we have a raid target in mind?
I do have one.
All right, before we raid, we got to do one more thing. Everybody's favorite segment of the show. It's time for the speech. The speech.
Speech.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to do the honors? I will let anybody do it. Look at how enthusiastic they are.
I think you should go for it, man.
I don't know, man. I don't have anything to talk
No
about.
words to talk about. Spike, I want you to use this to pitch the discussion
okay,
shows.
I'll joke. Okay, you know what? Here's my pitch. Everyone, we've had so much fun doing these in the past. I know, like, we have received some criticism. Starting tomorrow night, obviously at 3 o'clock tomorrow, everyone's a little bit nervous. Everyone's going to be submitting the games of their childhood, or the way they're going to get Twitch famous, or however you want to think about it. And a lot of you are going to get shot down, and that's okay. But if you want to be salty about it, I more than invite you, or just want to talk about things, come to my therapy session that I call the AGDQ Games Topic Show. We're going to be talking about what got in, what didn't get in, what do we not think is going to get past first cuts, second cuts, you know, what do we want to see different about the marathons going forward. And the biggest thing at the end of the day that I like about these is we just get to have a little roundtable discussion with the community. That's what I've enjoyed most about it. I've had sometimes 1,300 viewers hanging out in the chat. And again, not so much for you know, just saying I have that kind of viewer count, but that's how many people are there that just want to talk about this sort of stuff. You know, we talked about it in Mike's chat earlier. He was doing an AGDQ SGDQ games review show where we just wanted to, you know, we talked about, I want more of bonus stream to just be all of us sitting around a table and BSing for a little while. Well, you have the opportunity to BS, to talk about drama, to talk about what games you want to see get in, what's total crap and shouldn't be in it for the 12th time. Super Metroid's a bad game. I don't know. Anyways, come on by tomorrow. I think we're gonna start it. Sorry, guys, I'm just going. You know, I'm going there. Probably around like 7, 8 o'clock. I'll let you guys know over Twitter, but it'll be a lot of fun.
All right, now just to remind people again too, these are going to be. It's not just like a one night thing, right? This is.
No, the plans are that I'm going to be doing have a crew with me every night, maybe a different crew every night to kind of switch things up, and it'll probably be in 2 or 3 hour segments for the first like 3 or 4 nights. I don't know. We'll kind of play it by ear. We'll see when there's storylines to talk about, when there's not. But yeah, it'll be fun.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us, jumping in at the last minute. I know Stryker didn't know he's going to be on until a few hours ago, so appreciate you stepping in, saving the day. Goose, thanks for stopping by. Hope you come back again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and do we have our raid target?
We do.
All right, who is it? Give me the name.
Yo!
Oh, that's a great choice.
Oh, yeah.
Very fitting. All right, Goat Rope's the raid target. Is he going for legendary again? 134s?
Yep.
All right. Let's get in there, guys. And use your favorite MLG expression. You know, like quick scope to the face, 420 XX MLG.
And the cone gets angry.
There you go. There you go. Beats him down with the flag. Beat it. Whatever it might be. Get on in there, watch some Halo. Have a wonderful weekend, and remember that your run is not over until you hit
the final split.
Oh, there we go. We'll see you guys later.